on the motorsports world. It's, when you really start trying to quantify it, it's almost, you can't. I mean, it's hard to believe that he's been able to accomplish all he's accomplished. And having known where he's come from, I'm really looking forward to getting some answers out of this man, like I say, that I've worked for and that I have a lot of respect for.
And his journey along the way has been very inspirational. I mean, I've walked his museum a couple times, and to see all the different eras of his livelihood and where he is now, it's amazing.
It is, and I think right now, that if it sounds almost a little bit silly when we say something like this, but here he is, ladies and gentlemen, the amazing Rick Hendrick. He really is. That's right. We're talking about you, Mr. H. We're talking about you already.
Well, I don't know about the amazing part, but I'm here. It's good to be.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, well, it's good to be with you.
Oh, I really don't know where to get started, Mr. H, because like I say, I've known you for so long. I saw you when you came to Charlotte with Jeffrey Bodine and a City Chevrolet car way back when, and people were saying he'll be another one of these guys that just comes in and makes a splash and then drowns. And you made the splash, and darn if you ain't darn just treading water like it's easy. So much has happened in your life and in your career. I got to go all the way back to where you were born. I've had the privilege to go up there one time, and that tobacco farming area up there in Virginia. What lessons did you learn in that little town that helped you, get started, really?
Well, I think growing up on the farm, the first thing, I guess, working on equipment with my dad, and then I took automotive mechanics in high school, and I built a 31 Chevrolet with my dad. I drag raced when I bought the car when I was 14 and for $250. And on the way to Richmond to a drag race, and stopped at a station to get gas and saw this 31 Chevrolet. And I thought, man, I'm a Chevrolet guy, and I've seen all these 32 Fords, but here's a 31 Chevrolet. Looks like that. And so my dad and I built that, and I raced it. And but he was involved with Clayton Mitchell and Jack Tant and the 98 and the 11 modified car. So I got to go to races with them, and I was drag racing. But I guess the lesson I learned from my dad on the farm is that you have to count on other people, because you need a tractor, or your barn burns, and you have to work together. And I took that philosophy with me along the way in business and in racing, that people are your biggest assets, and take care of your people, they'll take care of you. And if you keep the group together and you learn over the years, and been very fortunate to have guys like yourself and Daryl that made an impact on our company. And just your culture, you create a culture of wanting to win, but you take care of your people. And I walked down pit road, Jeff, I was the youngest guy on pit road. I know when I ended up at Daytona, and I walked down pit road, and I saw Junior Johnson and Bud Moore and the Wood brothers. And I thought, man, I don't need to be here with this crowd. I got no business even being here. And now I'm the old guy on pit road. So 40 years is a long time to be doing anything.
No, that's the reason why we were talking about you and using the term amazing, because your run of 40 years, I guess if you could have started earlier, you'd have been right there with the Petty family, and you'd been here for 75 years if you could, because I don't know, it's like you're saying, once that speed bug or whatever you want to call it gets you bit, it's hard to get away from it, because you were not only into cars and drag racing, you did boats. It was just anything that went fast. You kind of like you wanted to touch it, and you wanted to be a part of it, and you didn't want to buy it, you wanted to work on it, correct?
Yeah. Well, if you think about my beginning in cup racing. When I go back, Robert G was from the same little town I'm from. And when I got to Charlotte, he had a dirt car, and Robert was Dale Jr.'s, grandfather. And so he got me to get involved with him in his dirt car. And then one day he said, "Hey, let's do bush car." And I said, "Okay." Right. And the first race I was partners with him, we won in Charlotte. And I thought, this is pretty easy, you make a deal one day, you win a race the next. And
yeah.
But no, when I was boat racing, and Jimmy Wright got killed in one of the boats, and we had won national championships and were doing really well. And I was driving, and I just couldn't go back and do it anymore. So I was storing the boats at Harry Hyde's shop, and Max Mulliman had been looking for sponsors for the boat. And he called me and he said, "Hey, would you be interested in having a cup team with Kenny Rogers and C.K. Spurlock and have Richard Petty drive?" And I thought, well, is that a trick question? Because I felt like, we're going to have the king of country music and then Richard Petty, king of NASCAR, and they had a sponsor. And so I said, well, I'm over here at Harry's, and Harry was, said he could do it. And that's the way we were going to start. And then the deal kind of unraveled with Richard and CK and those guys. And I was left with 5 people, two of them volunteers, and Harry was making 500 a week. And if you think about how I started, I rented the shop. I was renting the equipment. I was renting the gears. We were running Chrysler transmissions and rear ends in that Monte Carlo.
Right.
And with 3 people. And you couldn't show up today. We built a couple of cars, and I decided, well, we got to go on now. We had All-Star Racing, hired Jeff Bodine. And man, the story. We came so close to shutting the doors, but yeah. I don't think you could get into NASCAR any cheaper than I did, because I had Harry sitting there wanting to do it so bad.
No, you definitely came into the sport, a little bit in an uncharacteristic manner, but at the same time, good choices. And again, you said it earlier about choosing the people that you surround yourself with. I mean, Harry Hyde had a ton of experience. He was a winner. Sometimes very difficult to work with or even work for, but he had a passion to win. I mean, he was he was pulling every trick he could out of his back pocket to get a car in victory lane.
Yeah, Harry was. I think the one thing I saw with Harry is he wanted to finish the race, and he had a helicopter coolers, and I mean the cars were heavy, but
right.
But they didn't break.
With that being said, and again, this is not a trick question, and I hopefully doesn't sound redundant, but working in the car industry like you did, and you're extremely successful there, and you talk about the teamwork and everything. Which business do you feel like you have gained more out of that helps you with other business? I mean, did the car business give you the experience and the savvy that you've incorporated in racing, or did working within the racing and give you more to go and benefit your car business?
Well, I think if you ask me what drove me to do multi-car team, once we won a race, and we got a sponsor for the second year. Well, actually, we picked up a sponsor for the half of the first year, and then we got a sponsor for a full-time, Levi Garrett, and then Folgers approached us, and I had Tim Richmond sitting there that I wanted to begin with, I think what I learned in the automobile business was if you've got great people, you can, and about in that time I had probably 6 deals, maybe 6, 7 deals. And I would learn you work together and you get that many smart people. If everybody's on the same page, you can do good things and you share information. So I thought, well, in racing, if I've got, here's a guy I wanted, Tim Richmond, and here's a sponsor, which was hard to get a sponsor. I could, if I get the two to work together, which that was something I found pretty hard to get done. But you know, you have multiple people, you'll be able to grow faster and you'll learn more and you should be able to do better. Well, I didn't realize how hard getting people working together and racing was. You know how that goes. Everybody doesn't want to share. I think it's me 40 years to get that done, Jeff. But
Now,
no,
I was getting ready to say, I've having worked for you, I saw some of those moments in some of the meetings and how sometimes you were trying to, we'll go back to the Chad and Jimmy Cookie situation. You were trying to do that with people,
yeah.
Like Harry Hyde and all those guys that were older than me and more experienced than me at that time. They protected secrets like their life depended on. And they want, you said, you want me to give them what? I'm not giving them nothing. I wouldn't give them the time of day. It was a dog eat dog world, even though we would enjoy each other's camaraderie. When it came down to drop the green flag, all bets were off. And I understand your dilemma, but the personalities of the crew chiefs, team manager, but more crew chiefs and the drivers. Did you figure out a secret way to do that? Because you did it. I mean, look at the number of championships you have won. Look at the number of races, over 300 wins. You've done something right. What have you figured out? And is it a situation? Do you cut it off? Like you see something starting to go wrong, do you cut it off or do you let it run its course and then you basically put the train back on the track afterwards?
Well, I'm going to tell you a funny story that you'll like. Excuse me. So Gary Nelson is running one car and with Bodine, and then we have Tim Richmond and Harry together. I moved Harry and Bodine didn't work, so I had to separate them, And so we were running front steer, rear steer cars, right? And so Gary Nelson had come up with something pretty trick on the front end of his car. And so I wanted Harry to try it, but I knew Harry wouldn't. So I went to Harry and I said, "Hey, Harry, listen, I want you to help Gary Nelson figure out how to get his car to work. And so I want you to go over and look at it. I want you to tell him what he needs to do to make it right." And so I told Gary, I said, "Now look, I know once he sees this, he's going to go back and do it, but he's not going to do it unless I'm bringing him over there to tell you what's wrong with your car. And you got to go along with me, okay?" You have to ask Gary about it. So I took Harry over there, and he was critiquing Gary's car, everything that was wrong with it. And then went right back to his shop, and I didn't say a word. And he started putting the front end under his car the same way, and really picked them up a bunch. But no, as time has gone on, and I put them all in one place, and all the crew chiefs together, it's kind of been like, hey, you go from having to play politics and do what you need to do as much as you can. And you remember when we were running for championships and it was going to come down between our two cars back in the points when you already had it locked in, it was going to be one of those two cars. I would go to the guys and say, "Look, at the end of this race, one of us is going to be a champion. Now, I want you to know this. I'm going to the guy that finishes second first and tell them a good job. Then I'm coming over to see you guys that have won it, because I wanted them to know I wasn't playing favorite. So it was a lot of hard work to make it work. But in today's world, everybody's doing it that way now.
Right.
But it was a struggle to make it work. And at some point in time, you have to put your foot down and say, this is the way we're going to do it. If you can't do it this way, then you got to go somewhere else, because this is the way we're going to do it. And, but it's not easy, because at the end of the day, you got 4 teams and you go to the track and each team wants to win, but you got to convince them. How many times is it going to come down between the 2 of you? Well, with me, it's come down a lot between the 2 of them, but, or the 3 of them. But, you know, and probably the most unbelievable deal was when we ran 1, 2, 3, 4 at Dover, and they were shifting spots because of pit stops and everything. But you don't have that happen very often. And so anyway, long story short, it's not easy when they have to race against each other, but you learn that makes you stronger. And if that's the way it works out, then you're better off knowing that you just got to beat one of your teammates.
Well, and it's like you're pointing out for the people who don't really get it. You got to look big picture sometimes. Sometimes, you've got to sacrifice, and I think you understand that. And I've experienced one of those talks that you had with us one time when we all had a little attitude, and we're saying, well, I'm going to listen to what you got to say. And then one of the team members, and I won't bring his name up, but he said something that didn't exactly go the way you thought it should have been put. And you pretty much told us, now look, damn it, I own this race team. I'm giving you an opportunity to express yourself, but if you're going to be like this, there's the door. And it's like, you could have heard a pin drop, because that, we stepped over the line. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know we did. And it was good for me to hear you say that. And I think it was good for all involved that day. And
Yeah.
when we left out of there, I think we all had a better attitude about, we're missing the big picture here. I mean, you were trying to do big picture racing. And I think it's really important that people are watching here today understand the success that you have had didn't come without the roller coaster going to the bottom of the hill, just
Yeah.
like it was as great as the view was when you got to the top. And so it's always those life lessons, I think, that are more important than any numbers you put on the board. It's how you got those numbers and how people worked together and how kind of sacrifices that they made. And like I said, in 40 years, I'm pretty sure you've experienced more than anybody else, with the exception of maybe the Petties, the Wood Brothers, and they've been there longer, or Roger Penske. But, I think that's one of the things incredible. But I want to talk about this season, before we run out of time, because I think it's been one of those kind of seasons that's, again, it's amazing. And starting off with touching on one of your young drivers, because I like the combination, and I know you got, Chad Knaus and Jeff Gordon that are helping run these teams, but to me, William Byron and Rudy Fugle have to be a bright spot in 2023 when it comes to Hendrick Motorsports.
Absolutely. When you look at William, I've always been amazed at William, to learn how to race on a computer and not have any more seat time than he has in the cars. But such a unbelievable, puts more effort into simulation, studying tapes, but he just works his butt off. He and Rudy are a combination of people that believe in each other, and you know how that works. It's they have total confidence in each other, and that's hard to do. They race together in the trucks, and if I should have brought him on earlier and just didn't think, he didn't do it, but that combination, that's going to be a good combination for a long time, because William's just going to get better and better and better. Young guy, Still amazes me. Great qualifier. But he goes back, he and Rudy, and I'll tell you something about Rudy. We get on the plane together. I always like to bring the crew chiefs home with me so they can debrief, or I get to spend time with them especially if it's Phoenix or somewhere. And when Rudy hadn't won the race, he's not gonna talk to you very much. He's gonna be on that, he's gonna be in that computer digging. But
Yeah.
what a great combination. And it's confidence. It's confidence in each other. He gives William confidence. William gives Rudy confidence that he's gonna drive what Rudy wants him to. I'm gonna tell you what I think the car needs, but Rudy, you tell me, and I'm gonna go drive it. So it's probably one of the best relationships, car driver and crew chief, that I've seen in a long time.
And I'll agree with you, because I had some experience working with Rudy over at KBM when he was there and leading that organization. And I come to find out real quick that the passion he has for winning, no matter who's behind the wheel of whatever vehicle he's working on, he gives over 100%. And he tries to get in not only the engineering part to where he's accurate on adjustments, but he also knows how to work and pick up the psyche of the driver, as you already pointed out, getting that confidence in a driver, making him understand that. And confidence is not just, yeah, you can do it. This is why you can do it. Go on down in there and trust what we've done to the race car. It will be there for you when you need to lean on it. And once you can do that, convince them that that'll happen, you got a major battle solved right there. And again, they've been fun to watch. And like I say, they've got to be a high point in the 2023 season so far.
Yeah.
The other thing is, let's talk about Le Mans. I don't know how you feel about it after you looking in the rearview mirror, but I don't think that there was a lot of people in the country that were not Rick Hendrick and Team Chevrolet fans for you guys going across the pond over there and representing, all of us. And what did you get out of that? What did you take away?
I think that's one of the coolest things I've ever done. I had no idea how much work it was going to be, and to develop a car that when we started was 5 seconds slower at Sebring than the cars we needed to be in the class with, and headlights and 24. I mean, I'm holding my breath to run 600 miles with valve springs and valve trains and say, okay, we're going to run, 3,000 miles. So all of those things were like just an unbelievable task. And I think when Jim France talked to me about it, and said, hey, I want to do this. And I said, okay, let's go do it. I had no idea what I was getting into, but a tremendous amount of work and effort from everybody from NASCAR, from our organization. And I was concerned, okay, we're going to go over here with this car and we're going to jump into the middle of this 24-hour Le Mans with all the prototypes and the Porsches and the Ferraris, and how's the crowd going to react? How are people going to react to this car being in this event, this world famous event? And I never felt more proud to be an American or a NASCAR member than I was over there, because the fans went crazy over that car. You just watched I mean, 300,000 people. And when that car would come by, of course, you could hear it before it got there, compared to the other cars. But you just watched the cameras as it went down the straightaway, and the way the crowd reacted. And when we got there and our guys entered the pit crew competition against air jacks with a jack and beat them, and everybody went nuts over that. That just kind of launched the weekend. And then the car ran the race, and and we had, if we hadn't broke the gear, we weren't really racing in the GT class, but we were leading it. And the class we were supposed to be able to run with, we were faster than, and qualified them. And so just a lot of pride. I loved working with the drivers. We had Formula One guys that were famous. To see fans come up with 48 die-cast cars for Jimmy to sign. And when Jimmy crossed the finish line, he had this big ovation as the Ferrari that won the overall deal. And so people chanting USA, USA, USA. I think it was, Jesse said, I don't know how many thousands of articles written, the beast, and everything was positive. So for me, that was a bucket list deal. I had no idea how it was going to turn out, but it was phenomenal, and so much pride. And I'll tell you what really made us all feel good. While we were over there doing it, I think we were running Sears Point. The race was going on. Jeff Andrews was walking down pit road and had pit crew members come up and stop him and say, from other teams, "Hey man, thank you guys. You made us proud. Pit crew guys won that deal, and you made us proud." And so that meant so much. And I mean, again, when you're in a foreign country and people are chanting USA and you got the car there with the flag on it and you're representing our country, it was cool.
I had somebody tell me that an announcer, a reporter someplace said, the Americans have come over to Le Mans with a mule at a thoroughbred race. And with the laugh was on us when they unveiled it. We kind of find out they had secretariat in the car, in the truck, or something like that, that you snuck in there and everybody was thinking you were going to be in the way, and you had something that really, kind of surprised everybody. And again, all the comments and all the feedback, again, I know what it's like when you're at a racetrack and you hear and you see this stuff, and that's, to me, is what's important. I can tell right now you're grinning and beaming just like you were at Le Mans, I guess, when all this was going on, saying, it's been hard work, but this is what we've accomplished. And I know you're a man of accomplishments. That leads me to my next potential accomplishment you're getting ready to get into. Tell us a little bit about now going to Indy. How about that? I mean, you got Kyle Larson, which he is, arguably just talent upon talent upon talent. And he's already gone to Indy and passed his rookie test and shown that, hey, you better look out. This guy's a real deal and this is getting serious. So are you excited about that?
I'm really excited. I think I'm going to feel a little bit like I did when I went to Daytona the first time. I'm going to walk down pit road that day and say, I don't know if I'm supposed to be here or not, but here we are. But I think we're in good shape. It was so cool. Roger, when I got for the rookie test, Roger had put my name on the pylon. He and I are good buddies, and we race each other, but we're great friends. And I think it's going to be unbelievable to be there on the day of that race and have a car in that race. And, just to be there, I told Kyle, I said, well, the first thing we got to do is qualify, and we just got to get in the race, and then hopefully we'll have a good day. But it's going to be fun working with the McLaren folks. Has been great. I want to own a big deal for me to own the car and be able to bring it home, whatever's left of it when it's over. But it's one of those bucket list deals. I will say this: I wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't Larson pushing, and Jeff Gordon saying, "Hey, we ought to do this," and then I get fired up about it. But I don't think I would journey into that if Kyle hadn't been constantly, from the first day we talked, "Hey, I want to run Indy. I want to go to Indy." So I think it's going to be a great experience. And there again, at the end of the day, in the museum, I'll be able to walk through there and I'll see Garage 56 and I'll see the original, you know, all-star racing car. And if you go through our museum or my car collection, I love history and I keep everything. When you grow up on a farm, you keep everything. So I've got everything every picture, every trophy, every whatever. So it'll be cool.
Well, Mr. H, thank you very much for taking some time out for us here with our EPARTRADE Race Industry Week. It's been an honor. And again, it's a pleasure working for you, and it's good to always see you, boss.
Well, you did a great job with us. And I tell you, you had a tough job handling Darrell Waltrip. So I think you earned your money, brother.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Great honor to have you on. What a delight.
Registering on EPARTRADE is easy. To start, click on the Join for Free button on the homepage. First, search your company to see if it's already in our database. If you see your company on the list, click on it to select it. Then, choose Claim Company if you are one of the decision makers, an owner, marketing person, or main company contact. Or choose Join Company if you are an employee, and press Continue. If you couldn't find your company in our database, select Register a New Company. On the following page, fill out your name, email, phone number, job title, and choose a secure password. If you chose Register a New Company, you'll need to choose your business type. Select Supplier if you're looking to display products or services and connect with buyers. Choose Racing Business if you're looking to source new parts and connect with suppliers. Choose Race Team if you own or are a member of a professional race team. Then, enter your company name. Please provide a website, Facebook page, or LinkedIn if you have one, and choose to either claim or join the company. You can view and agree to our terms of use here. If you'd like to receive our weekly newsletter, choose Accept. Finally, click Register Now and your registration will be submitted for approval. An email will be sent to your inbox. Please confirm your email address and you will be approved shortly. Welcome to EPARTRADE.